Hi everyone, you're blessed. Today we are going to tackle about pedagogy by Paulo Freire. Paulo Freire was born on September 19, 1921 in Recife, Brazil. He was a Brazilian educator, philosopher, and sociologist. He is widely regarded as one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. His work had a profound impact on education, sociology, and politics. Growing up, his family was poor, and he often went hungry. Even though life was hard, he loved to read and learn. Even though they are poor, he still went to the University of Recife, where he studied law, philosophy, and psychology. In the 1960s, he worked with adult literacy programs in Brazil, which led to the development of his revolutionary approach to education. He believed that education should help poor and oppressed people improve their lives. He also thought that schools should not just teach facts, but also help students think for themselves and question unfair systems. So, with that, Freire's ideas on education became very important around the world.
Hi, my name is Reda Sipagaya and I will be going to explain and discuss about the background of publications and also the meanings of pedagogy of the oppressions. The book is considered one of the foundational contexts in critical pedagogy and propose a pedagogy with a new relationship between teacher, student, and society. This book is dedicated to the oppressors and based on his own experience helping Brazilian adults to read and write. Where includes a detailed Marxist class analysis in his explorations of the relationship between the colonizer and the colonized. In the book, Prayer calls traditional pedagogy the banking models of education because it treats a student as an empty vessel to be filled with knowledge, like a piggy bank. He argued that pedagogy should instead treat the learner as a co-creator of knowledge. As of 2000, the book had sold over 750 copies worldwide. It is the third most cited book in social sciences. Due to the 1962 Brazilian coup d'etat where military dictator was put in a place with the support of the United States. Paulo Freire was exiled from his home country, an exile that lasted 16 years. After a brief stay in Bolivia, he moved to Chile in November 1964 and stayed up until April 1969 when he accepted the temporary positions in Harvard University. His 4.5 year stay in Chile impacted him intellectually, pedagogically, and ideologically, and contributed significantly to the theory and analysis he presents in Pedagogy of Oppressions. Freire wrote Pedagogy of Oppression between 1967 and 1968 while living in the United States, originally written in his native Portuguese. Pedagogy of Oppression was first published in Spanish in 1968. This was followed by an English version in translation by Myra Bergman Ramos in 1970. The Portuguese original was released in Portugal in 1972 and in Brazil in 1974. Though Ramos' translation has received some degrees of criticism, Freire approved of it, was involved in consultation during the translating process. The Pedagogy of Oppression is a powerful critique of traditional education and a call to actions for educators to become agents of social change. The book has been translated into numerous languages and has sold millions of copies worldwide. In the book, Freire argues that education can either be maintained to oppression or to liberate the oppressed. He introduced the concept of banking education where students are treated as passive recipients of knowledge and contrast it with problem-posing education, where students are encouraged to think critically and challenge the status quo. Freud also explored the concept of conscientization, which refers to the process of developing critical awareness on one's social and political situations. And his are the key concepts and ideas of pedagogy of oppression. First one is the critical pedagogy, an approach to education that emphasizes critical thinking, problem solving, and social activism. Number two is conscientizations, the process of developing critical awareness of one's social and political situations. Third is debunking education, an approach to education where students are treated as passive recipients of knowledge. Fourth one is the problem posing education, the opposite ones of the banking educations, an approach to education where students are encouraged to think critically and challenge the status quo. Last one is the dialogue educations, an approach to education that emphasizes dialogue, mutual respect, and collaboration between teachers and students.
The legacy and impact. So Paulo Freire's work has left a lasting impact on education, sociology, and politics. His ideas continue to shape the way we think about learning, empowerment, and social change. Number one is critical pedagogy. So Freire's work has inspired a generation of a critical pedagogists who seek to challenge traditional education systems and promote social justice. So one of Freire's most significant contribution is his role in developing critical pedagogy. He challenged the traditional banking model of education where students are treated as empty vessels to be filled with knowledge. Instead, he promoted a dialogical approach, one that encourages students to think critically and actively participate in their own learning. His ideas have inspired educators worldwide to use education as a tool for social justice, empowering students to question and transform the world around them. Next is adult education. So Freire's work with adult literacy programs in Brazil has influenced adult education initiatives worldwide. So Freire's impact is especially strong in adult education. In Brazil, he worked with literacy programs designed to help adults. So hindi lang kung paano bumasa at sumulat, but also political awareness, particularly those from marginalized communities. Then number three is social movements. Then Freire's work, Freire's ideas have been influential in social movements such as the civil rights movement in the United States and the landless workers movement in Brazil. Beyond the classroom, his philosophy has foiled many social movements. His ideas were influential in the civil rights movement in the United States, where activities use education to empower communities facing racial and economic oppression. The last one is education policy. Freire's work has influenced education policy debates, particularly in the areas of critical pedagogy and social justice. So his work has also shaped education policy, particularly in discussions about critical pedagogy and social justice and education. His belief that education should be an act of liberation has influenced policies that aim to make learning more inclusive, participatory, and empowering, especially in countries that have faced histories of colonialism and inequality.
As I continue, my part it's all about awards and recognition. Freire received numerous awards and honors for his work, including first, we have UNESCO Prize for Education for Peace year 1986. So Paulo Freire received was to recognize his groundbreaking contributions to education and social change. The UNESCO Prize for Education for Peace honored his efforts to use education to promote peace and social justice. Second is King Baldwin International Development Prize, year 1980. The King Baldwin International Development Prize recognizes his role in improving education and development, especially in marginalized communities. Third, we have honorary doctorates from several universities, including the University of Geneva and the University of California, Berkeley. Honorary doctorates from universities acknowledge his global influence and the importance of his ideas in shaping modern educational practices. These awards celebrated his commitment to empowering individuals through education and advocating for a more just society. Paulo Freire's life and work have had a profound impact on education, sociology, and politics. His ideas continue to inspire educators, activists, and scholars worldwide. The Pedagogy of the Oppressed remains as a seminal work in the field of critical pedagogy, and its influence can be seen in social movements, education policy debates, and adult education initiatives globally. That's all.
God bless everyone. My name is Philip Angelus Rendo and this is my report. In Pedagogy of the Oppressed, Freire expressed a maturing Marxist influence analysis of the political nature of education that clearly places literacy and critical education within the context of the struggle of the oppressed to go beyond capitalist modernization and toward a revolutionary transformations. So, for example, ang pedagogy of the oppressed ay isang akdang malakas ang impluensya ni na Karl Marx at Franz Fanon. Ayon sa isang kritiko, si John D. Holtz, dito ipinapakita ni Paulo Freire ang isang pagsusuri na may impluensyang Marxista na ang nag-uugnay sa edukasyon at politikal. Binibigyang diin ni Freire na ang edukasyon ay hindi lang basta pagtuturo ng mga kasanayan tulad ng pagbabasa at pagsusulat, kundi ito ang isang paraan ng pagpapalaya ng mga inaapi. Layunin ng edukasyon na matulungan ang mga oppressed o mga taong pinipiga ng sistemang kapitalista upang magbago at magtagumpay sa pamamagitan ng isang makatarungang pagbabago sa lipunan. Paulo Freire thought and work were primarily influenced by his historical context of the history of Brazil and his own experiences. Some of the early and lasting influences on Freire were his parents, his free school teachers, and Aloisio Pissoa de Araujo, the principals of Oswaldo Cruz Secondary School. For example, ang mga ideya at gawa ni Paulo Freire ay naaapektuhan ng kanyang kasaysayan, ang kasaysayan ng Brazil at ang kanyang sariling mga karanasan. Ilan sa mga unang taong naapektuhan sa kanya ay ang kanyang mga magulang at ang kanyang guro sa preschool at si Aloisio Pissoa de Araujo, ang punong guro ng Oswaldo Cruz na paaralan.
So,